Hello and welcome to Real-ationship Talk. The fear of healing too fast after a breakup. We don't often think about that, do we? We often think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to heal after a breakup. But what about the fear of healing too fast after a breakup? And that was a question that was presented to me by a follower who asked me, is it possible to heal too fast from a breakup? And this person says that they're going through a tough time after a breakup. And they wrote to me saying that they're scared to heal too fast from their previous relationship because they feel like it might mean they didn't care about that person as much as they thought. And it also feels wrong, like an injustice or disrespect to the time spent with that person. They're worried that moving on too quickly might be a sign that the relationship wasn't as important to them as they had believed. And I understand that because I work with many clients who also feel the same. And in relation to what they're feeling, and if you're experiencing this yourself, you might be feeling guilt, ashamed, that you're not grieving the loss of the relationship as much as you thought or feel you should be. And there can be so many reasons for this. And it's really important that you don't beat yourself up over the way that you're feeling, because you are going through a process right now and there's going to be waves of confusion. There's going to be, could I have done things differently? Why am I feeling so good or so healed so quickly? So it's important just to have self-reflection rather than any judgment about the situation. Now, a few reasons why you might be feeling a fear of healing too fast after a breakup is you probably have invested a lot of time and energy into that relationship, and it can feel difficult to let go of that feeling and to move on. Additionally, as you've said here, is that you might be worried that healing too quickly could mean you didn't care about the other person as much as you thought you did. And it's important to acknowledge that, because there's a lot of value judgment being put behind that. Healing as much as you should be. And what is should? What does should look like? Your should is going to be very different to somebody else's should. So it's really important to tap into just the way that you are feeling right now and sit there with that feeling with no judgment and just witness what you are feeling. But then also, what my clients also experience is a little bit of a dilemma. It's, okay, am I healing too fast? Am I not healing at all? So there can be so much guilt and shame and confusion around that process too. So it's noticing the pattern. How often do you feel that you are healing too fast, as opposed to how often do you feel like you're not healing enough? And then start to witness what is you are experiencing in those moments. Now, the question is it possible to heal too fast after a breakup? So, as I mentioned, healing is a personal process and it's going to look completely different for every single person who is going through that process. Some people may heal relatively quickly, while others might need a bit more time to grieve and to process their feelings. Either way, there's no right or wrong from it. It's important that you alone take that time to heal and to not compare your feelings and your journey to other people, or to have other people's opinions and judgments put pressure on you to heal in a certain way. The importance is that you heal healthily, because you are going to have certain people who will say, oh, that's a bit quick, isn't it? What, you were together for 7 years and suddenly 3 months on, you've moved on and you're with another person, or you've moved on and you obviously didn't love that person as much. There's going to be a lot of opinions around that, but it's important not to have that put pressure on you or to have you feel guilty about moving on or healing too quickly. If you are healing at a time that is right for you, then you honor that time without having to feel you have to justify yourself for where you are right now to other people. It's really important, because your journey is going to be so unique to yourself. So what you have to do is to witness what you are doing in terms of processing your emotions. And if you actually are finding that you're not giving yourself enough time to process the emotions, give yourself that time and space to grieve. Because it could be possible that you are moving on too quickly because you are just putting a plaster on the wound and you're just finding things to distract yourself. Of course, you don't necessarily want to be sat in that emotion of whatever you're feeling right now. It could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be pain. It is important to find healthy ways to move on, but then also to honor and respect the emotions that you're feeling right now. So there could be a case that you are moving on too quickly and you're finding other ways to deal with that healing and not actually acknowledging how you're truly feeling. And what can happen is that what you resist persists and it will resurface at some point down the line. So I would really invite you to sit with the emotions where you are right now, just in case that they resurface later on. If they do resurface, you got this covered. You'll be able to handle it then. But why not try and nip it in the bud sooner rather than later? So when you are able to really process how you're feeling and give yourself time and space to do so, I just really encourage you not to rush into anything until you feel you are ready. When I talk about rushing into anything, I'm talking about another romantic relationship, because you want to be bringing your fullest self as much as possible without any emotional baggage or any deep traumas into your next relationship, and start maybe trauma bonding with another person who could be experiencing the same. And you really want to be going into that new space with that new person with a new energy about it as much as possible. It's not necessarily going to be transformational, but at least you're not going to be bringing the old into the new with some heaviness. Now, I would also strongly encourage you, in part of your healing process, is to take time for yourself, to take care of yourself physically and also mentally. Eat healthily, eat well, exercise, take time for self-care activities, whatever makes you feel good in the moment. It's so important that that helps you to do that. And if you are moving on too fast or too quickly because you are doing these activities, then that's a good thing, because you are looking after yourself. You're setting healthy boundaries within yourself. That is a positive thing. Absolutely. Again, it may also be helpful for you to talk to somebody else, to talk to a trusted friend or family member who's not going to judge you, who is there to listen to you, to sit with you, just to be there with you in that moment. Or you may consider seeking some professional help if you are struggling to cope. Again, you can have your family, your friends who are there to support you, and somebody who is objective, like a coach, a counselor, a therapist, whoever that might be, whatever modality they specialize in, then that could also be helpful for you to help you to figure out, just really, are you healing from it, or are you just running away from it and escaping that feeling rather than really processing the feeling? So for those of you who are listening, and for that person who wrote into me, I hope that you were able to connect with that message and that it gave some insights as to, it is not right or it's not wrong in terms of the time it takes to heal. It's going to be completely personal to yourself. So do that with being kind and gentle to yourself, witnessing what you're feeling and finding healthy ways to move on without having this loaded value judgment on, oh my goodness, it's too quick, or I'm not healing quickly enough. Just sit with it. It's going to be unique to yourself, because breakups aren't easy, not easy for most people actually. So doing your best to focus on the positive aspects of your life at this time and looking to the future instead of dwelling on the past can really help you to be kind to yourself in this moment and to heal in a healthy way. So I truly hope that has added some value to you and given some pause of reflection for yourself. And if you do want some personal help on this, I am really, really open and will be happy to help you in a private session to figure out where you are. And I can help you figure out that really quickly, actually, in terms of the process that will be needed to help you to heal, or to identify whether you are actually healing too fast from it, and to see where you are, because you could be, or you might not be. It might just be exactly where you need to be right now, and I can help to figure that out. So check out my website, www.tereshayoung.com, where you can book in some time with me. You can also find me across all social media platforms as Teresha Young, should you want to follow my work there. Until the next Real Relationship Talk episode, take great care of yourself and others too.